Welcome to week 3 with Google Classroom. You were on week 3 of Google Bootcamp, so I am super excited for you and proud of you for making it this far. I would like to start off this week by going over Google Classroom. If you are a classroom teacher, it is something you probably are very familiar with. However, Google Classroom has had a really big facelift in the past year. Also, I want to start this video by saying if you are happy to be watching this and you're from another district, we do have the Google Plus for Education. So we have the upgraded version. So we do have different features and some additional things that we have paid for with our subscription. So if you are utilizing this video for training purposes for your teachers and you do not have that purchase, there might be a few things that are a little different or a little off. So let's look at our focus areas for Google Classroom today. Archive or delete classes, create and reuse rubrics, grade and return assignments, and add and remove email guardians. So I at the district level, unfortunately, have to use staff to play with things in Google Classroom, but I do have some of these situations created in a Google Classroom so that we can kind of explore through there. So let's talk about archive deleting, and I want to just touch on Google Classroom creation for a minute too. So we do create Google Classrooms for you at the beginning of the year from your PowerSchool rosters. They are now continuously updated through Google. That is something we received in Education Plus. There is no more extra little sis program that sends you all those crazy emails, but these are created for you. And I do not have a good example because I do not have any created, but whenever you open up your Google Classroom dashboard at the beginning of the year, there will be a button down here that says if you want to accept or deny or approve or archive or something, your Google Classrooms that are created for you. I would highly recommend you accept that because it's going to help your roster stay updated. It's also going to be tied to class wise. So there's a really, that's a great way to manage the students in your classroom. So highly recommend doing that. If you have an issue with that, then, feel free to reach out and I can help you try to get those and make sure that you've got everything that you're supposed to have. So, then at the end of the year, and this would be our first year with Google Education Plus. So if you're watching this video after May, then we may have already figured this out. But at this time, I am not sure that we can mass archive classes. We're going to look into that. But at the end of the year, it's a really good idea for you to go through and archive your classes so that you can kind of keep your dashboard pretty clean. So I have lots of Google Bootcamp classes you can see, but I have promised my participants they will always have access to their information. So I'm going to leave all those. But I'm going to come down here. I don't attend these anymore. So I'm just going to show y'all what it looks like to archive these classes. So if we just go to, well, I'm not an owner of these, so I will do this. I can always come back. So if you click on your three dots, you click archive, and it is just going to put your Google Classroom off of your main dashboard into your archived classes. So this is just some good cleanup we recommend for the end of the year to make sure that you're, not overlooking anything. Everything is nice and streamlined for you for the school year. I don't really recommend deleting a class unless you just absolutely screwed it up. You need to start over. Another thing that is super handy dandy is making a copy of a class that you own. So if you really like the way that you structured your assignments and set everything up, when you copy a class, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this one real quick. It'll take just a second to populate. It will bring over all of the content you posted in the class only under the classwork tab. It does not bring over your stream assignments. It does not bring over the people. It does not bring over the work. But again, if you really worked hard on your layout of your Google Classroom and got all these things in there, you can make a copy and not have to do it all again next year. Now, that is going to be self-creating your Google Classroom, and it will not be maintained through the roster sync that we have in PowerSchool. So it's kind of like pick your poison or pick your use of your easiness level that you want to have. So we may come back to that in just a second so we can go ahead and move on to our other item. So I am going to come down here to this Education Plus trial participants class because I've got some things already built in here. So rubrics are new in Google Classroom. It is really easy to do. It is going to be something that inevitably will save you time at the end. So this is what the assignment looks like, and then this is what the rubric looks like. I'm going to show you how to set all this up. In Google Classroom for an assignment, but these are just kind of the instructions that they have given us. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to make a test assignment. And over here on the right side, uh-oh. Now that I have a test assignment named, it's going to be 100 points. I would also check this plagiarism box. Those are back. Originality reports. It will compare the student's work with things that are online. It does not catch AI though. And then we're going to create a rubric. If this is your very first one you're going to create, but if you have also started making rubrics, you can reuse rubrics from previous assignments. So this is going to go across Google Classrooms. But if you were grading the same type of math project every quarter, you could reuse rubrics from there. So you can also import one you make from Sheets. I have not tried that yet, but just going to go to create a rubric. And this is where you're going to build out every row. So this is going to be where I'm just going to put grammar, appropriate and correct grammar. Notice I did grammar, not spelling, is used throughout the essay. And here is where you can do your different levels. So if you want to have 3, 2, 1, that this is poor, average, excellent. You can also give in descriptors right there, that there were 5+ errors, there were 2 to 3 errors, and then there were less than 2 or no errors to kind of give a description. So then you just keep building it on out. So you add your criteria. What you can also do is that you can take this and you can duplicate it. So if you make very generic point rankings, then you can just go in and do your title every time. So I used to use Rubistar way back in the day as a rubric maker because I taught science. I did a lot of projects, so I used a rubric all the time. So this is going to be something that is going to be really great for you to use in Google Classroom to kind of give us, and the students can look at it too to see exactly how they're going to be scored on that assignment. Okay, so with our assignments, let me come over here to find something that we have had. Okay, and it looks like I had some work turned in. So over here where she has made a rubric, um, now we're in our grading screen. Again, this has got a facelift. You have a spot to put their overall grade, but you also can look right here with the rubric and easily click and fill in, and it's going to auto calculate the grade for you. Look how easy. A little bit of front work on the end, on the beginning for you to set this up, and then you were able to come in here, click, click, click. It gives them their grade, and then it's going to return their assignment to them, which is something we always want to do. So if Miss Posey has turned this into me, this means that she cannot go back and edit this in any way until I have finished grading her assignment. We're going to give her 100. She did a great job. And return that work. Work can also be returned in bulk. You can click everybody's who's turned in and return their work right there. And then we can also come in here and see who's missing as well. So highly recommend always returning work, especially before you archive classes if you're going to do that too. That way students have access to be able to get to documents and stuff that they need from previous classes. Um, let's see. Oh, now my copy has been made. I'm going to come in here and show y'all. So no announcements came over. There are announcements in that class, but under classwork, I kind of have a draft version of everything that is made there. So now I have the ability to go in and assign it. My people are not there. There are not grades there. So it just basically the structure, the outline, the bones came over. So that can save you some time too if you are willing to do those copies. Okay, guardians is the other thing we want to talk about. So this is something that you can set up in your Google Classroom if you want to invite guardians to be able to come into um, your Google Classroom. So I have set that up on Nix. So basically we just go to invite guardians and you type in their email, and now my name is labeled as his guardian. So what happens here is that I get a weekly email if there's work assigned. I do not get a weekly email now because I don't have work assigned, but I get a weekly email with what is completed or what's missing. It does not show actual like grades and assignments, but then the guardian is informed about things that are upcoming and things that were due that maybe that the student has not completed. It does give missing assignments, which is a great communication tool to have. So if that's something that you want to take the time to set up and do, um, it is a little bit tricky for the guardian to accept. We have figured out it's really hard to do on a cell phone, works much better on a computer, to be able to accept those invitations to be a guardian in that classroom. They cannot get into your classroom. They cannot see what's in your Google Classroom. They only get that weekly report. I need to post a picture of what you get in here. I will try to get that done and I'll share it in our classroom with you. But they cannot see anything that you've done. They cannot see. They will be able to see announcements, so they can see those things. Just to keep that in mind. Another thing to kind of highlight in Google Classroom that's a little bit different whenever we have these assignments. Now we do have the practice sets that we have paid for that are embedded, and we have resources. I'll show those too. Read Along is something that is a great program that can be used for kindergarten. We have new video activities that kind of work like an Ed Puzzle or a Nearpod that can be done. And all of this is included with our Education Plus license. So these are really, really great resources to utilize as well. Practice sets are like little quizzes, and you can actually share links and make copies to other teachers so they can get resource types. Oh, another really, really great thing with our Google Classrooms now too, if you have, if you are a third grade teacher and you want to share an assignment with your other third grade teammate, you can share classwork and you can send teachers this link and they'll be able to go in and pick assignments that they want to copy from your classroom. This says it's not ready yet, but you'll be able to go in and they can get assignments and post them in their classroom. So you're not having to reinvent something twice. You can share work that you've already made. It's very, very awesome. Last thing I want to mention to you, and this is talked about in the meet section too, but just to highlight this box right here, this is a standing Google Meet link. So anytime you want to meet with your students in here, you can come in, click join, and open up a Google Meet. A teacher must be present on the meet for the meet to open. So I'm the only person that can start that Google Meet for these participants to be on there. So that is something to keep in mind too. I hope that you have gotten a lot out of this little overview of Google Classroom and maybe you can utilize some of those new features.